All right. So the good news is you do have a support staff here for your kids' health and wellness, right? And ground zero, doctor-wise, you have your pediatrician, right? And a thing here with doctors in general, number one, when we talked about birth, all right, and that the main thing is safety, and that everything, the less interventions, the less side effects, that is a really pretty good philosophy of health and wellness in general, right? Least invasive to most invasive is a good kind of guideline for general health and wellness, right? If something can be solved here in the most natural, less invasive way, it's always going to be better than a more invasive way, because more invasive ways typically have more side effects than less invasive ways. I mean, just as for general health and wellness, okay? In general, for human beings, okay? And normal, healthy, standard issue human beings, we are generally designed to be a self-sustaining, self-healing organism for most things that are not out of the ordinary, right? Not to say there's not out of the ordinary, all this other stuff. With that being said, I say that because, our doctors who we have access to, right? You want to use the right doctor for the right job. And doctors are tools, right? For our toolkit of health and wellness, right? So I'm not going to bring a broken arm to my pediatrician, right? I'm bringing a broken arm to the emergency room doctor, okay? So there's different doctors for different stuff. Your pediatrician, ground zero, basic health and wellness, right? You're going to have a relationship with this pediatrician, well visits, yearly checkups, amazing. Okay? When you are looking for pediatricians, a couple things to consider. Location is a big one. Are they accessible? You might really love this person, but it's like way on the other side of town. It really turns into be a pain, right? You want some place that's relatively accessible, that you jive with the doctors there. Sometimes, it might be super accessible, but you're not in love with the personality of the dude, date or woman, the doctors. You want to date a couple, right? Because your woman, I mean, you spend some time at the pediatrician, even the healthiest kids, okay? Another doctor that I want to recommend to open your consciousness to, that is a really amazing tool for general health and wellness for your kid and your family, is a pediatric chiropractor. Now, yes, I'm coming from this background, all right? And let's look at it from this perspective. We already talked about birth in general. And if you're with me, even on the it kind of makes sense perspective, it's a physical situation. Birth is physical. Any way you slice it, it's physical. The healthiest, smoothest, crunchiest, all of it. Ask your midwife, ask your OB. It's physical, okay? For your woman and for the infant. All right, so that's just off the bat. And granted, everything is perfectly aligned and nothing is out of whack or anything like that, okay? Even still, all right, infants and children and little toddlers, this is super physical business. Super physical, all right? And a chiropractor, especially a pediatric chiropractor, right? There are different kinds of chiropractors. There are sports ones and performance and family ones, and usually a family chiropractic office, right? And if you were looking for one, I would look specifically for family chiropractic, and you could say, hey, are you certified for pediatrics? And or ask, I'm sure you might have a friend that sees a chiropractor. Okay. A chiropractor is essentially a mechanic. We're mechanics. Mechanics for people. All right? There's a lot of moving parts and pieces in your body. Yours, mine, your baby's, all of us. Moving parts and pieces. And they just kind of make sure the moving parts and pieces are all the cogs and everything are moving properly. Back to the fact that childhood is very physical. All right. So you start off with the birth physical. Then, right, they're on the ground and they're starting to push themselves up, right? They're starting to hold themselves up as they're starting to develop their neck strength. You know what happens? Boom! They smash their face on the ground. They pick their head up, they're going again. Boom! They smash their face on the ground. Oh, I'm going to try it again. Oh, I got it this time. And they're holding it. Boom! They smash their face on the ground. Okay? Pretty physical, all right? Then they start developing and they start creeping. Just so you know, right? They creep first. It's a one brain side, the one side of the brain. It's not fully integrated yet, so they start off creeping. Then they start to crawl, right? As the connections are built. That's why crawling is so good, all right? The integrations are being met and they're moving around, boom, and they're falling. They're moving around, boom, and they're falling. Then what happens next? They start to stand up. They start to stand up, boom, they fall on their behind. Boom, they fall on their behind. Boom, they fall on their behind. All the time, okay, all the time. Then they're smashing into the wall. They're falling over here. They're falling over there. It's physical. It's physical. If you had a physical thing like your car and you smash it into this tree, even gently, right? You very slowly, boom, 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 boom. It knocks things out of place. I mean, again, I'm just a sensible dude. It just makes sense, okay? Right? Then you're going to bring them to the playground. They're going to fall off the swing. They're going to fall off the slide. They're falling, smashing, smashing, smashing. So what I'm saying is, bring them to the mechanic, dude. Find a mechanic that you like. It's only going to increase the odds. Your kid is going to have less physical stuff because structure, function, right? So, you know, these cogs are moved out of place. We talked earlier about ear infections and all kinds of stuff. I'm just here to say it's a resource for you that a lot of folks may not think about, right? And look, I'm here to share with you pediatric chiropractors, okay? Pediatrics, we're talking about, this is the pressure we're talking about here, okay? Such gentle touch. They use the muscles and these gentle little, so gentle, so gentle, so gentle, so gentle. We're talking about gentle here, okay? Who are super trained up in little infants, and it helps so many times. Look, sometimes if your woman, if they're not latching on, it could be like a jaw thing from being pulled out, right? Structure, sometimes it's as easy. And what if, amazingly, it was something as easy as a little adjustment, and all of a sudden things, you know, one cog was out and all of a sudden the other cogs start moving. Least invasive, man. If we could fix an issue, whatever issue, with the least invasive way, it's always going to be better because there's less side effects. So that's what I'm saying. It's a resource, and I think an amazing resource, and that's why I want to share it with you from that perspective. I hope that made sense, okay? And, you know, for the whole family. I mean, it just makes sense to have a mechanic, okay? And look, everything in moderation here. I'm not talking about 100 zillion visits and all that. No. As a resource, right? As a resource. And P.S., kids love going there because they're not getting a shot, right? And something actually happens there.